Indeed, thank you very much, Bungi. We're now joined by political analyst Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast. Doctor, thank you for being with us. The president, referencing 2017, that was the so-called Festival of Chairs, where the members violently attacked each other. He said that they had defied the odds by showing that this would not descend into chaos. Earlier, Oscar Mabuyane even said the mood was festive. So let's start with, how do you think this conference overall was conducted?
Yeah, first of all, Francis, I think security was tightened. I presume that they must have intercepted some threats in the beginning. Hence, we saw a lot of footprint of police officers on the ground. Though there were tensions, but I think they managed to, hold a successful conference. I think the common denominator between the two speeches, or what stood out for me in the speeches that were made by the president and also Oscar, is that both of them extended an olive branch to the losers. Meaning that their understanding of democracy does not denote that the winner takes all. But my understanding of politics at the same time is that, there are two types of politics. There are politics of idealism in terms of what you stand for, your theorization of values. Then there are politics of realism. Because after all, in my view, politics is about hegemony, it's about dominance, it's about imposing your agenda. So the issue of unity, I think, is just a pie in the sky. I think now we are going to see the real politics, because I think Oscar Mabuyane feels betrayed by some people. For instance, the guy that stood against him, Madikizela. It is reported that he used the state resources to finance his campaign, and he has been saying all sorts of things about him. So I think there will be a reshuffle, and I think he will let go of him.
So I understand what you're saying, and Oscar Mabuyane coming back in as chair, certainly tightening his grip on the province, but weren't both reassuring that there would not be a purge? I mean, it may not be necessary with Madikizela. He's indicated to our reporter on the ground that he may be leaving politics entirely, going back to business. But weren't they reassuring that there won't be any sort of retribution or purge?
I think Madikizela is sensing a danger that maybe Oscar might unleash, a particular attack on him. No wonder he wants to walk out of government peacefully and continue with his business ventures. But I doubt very much if there will be a win-win situation, that they are going to forget about the past and everything will be fine after this conference. Because in the bigger scheme of things is the upcoming elective conference of the ANC. So now that the president has facilitated the ascendancy of Mabuyane to the helm of power, Mabuyane also must deliver the votes to the president to come back for a second term.
Yeah, and just to clarify, he mentioned leaving government. He's currently in MEC, Babalo Madikizela. Talking about the big scheme of things, how significant is the Eastern Cape in December? How significant is it that Oscar Mabuyane, an ally of President Ramaphosa, has been re-elected in this province?
It's one of the biggest provinces of the ANC. My view is that, though I think that we should not turn a blind eye to the strong points of the forces of RAT, because they do have some strong points in terms of how they maneuver. But at the same time, also they have some gaps. On the other hand, if you look at the Ramaphosa faction, I think they've got two strategic advantages, which are key. First of all, they've got the state machinery. Secondly, they have a good relationship with capital, and I think their campaign is also going to be financed by capital. So I can bet my bottom dollar, I think Ramaphosa will come back for a second term, so long as he keeps in touch with his opponents on the battlefield. Because if they lose focus, the tables might turn.
All right, so keep your enemies close is what you're saying. So overall, they were emphasizing that this was a successful conference. But there have been issues. Ramaphosa, well, Oscar Mabuyane, talking about the fact that after 110 years, this movement should be able to hold conferences without delays. We saw delays. Then we saw another court bid, and that was put aside. Seemingly, those were Madikizela supporters that went to court, and they were talking about branches inflating membership. I mean, is that manipulation real? How serious are the problems that we did see over the weekend?
Yeah, I think at the heart of the Cold War that broke out was the issue of credentials. So that was the bone of contention, because that is a key political indicator in terms of who stands a chance to win the conference. After that, you can't say that you were cheated. But then they spoke the same language and they adopted the credentials. No wonder, all and sundry accepted the democratic outcomes.
All right, thank you for your analysis tonight. That was analyst Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast.